We are live. We are live, and today is a court day.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
remember these days back in the days, court day? Were you excited when you were going to court, or I mean, it was something different,
Hell
or it was
no.
just like, fuck,
No,
you had to deal with the bullshit.
you can't take the emblem down
Let me see
because
if
it's
I
covering
can.
his face.
Yeah, let me see if I can. We'll take the.
You can just click it, I think, and it goes away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, me. So when I was fighting my case, there was six of us,
Yeah,
and all these dudes were out on bail. So I'm the one sitting there in the tanks, sitting there all day. Uh, I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all.
that's what I hated about court. It was like it was a drag. It was an all day thing from early in the morning to
Yeah,
all day, and
you
it
could
exhausts you.
you
You
could
know.
go and you would be, your case is like with me, my crimies, they were all getting, talking about deals. With me, it was never on the option, on the table, right?
Yeah.
So I was going over there to sit there while they were doing backroom deals. You know what I mean? And my
Mhm.
shit could have been done by 8:30, and I'm not going nowhere till fucking 4 in the afternoon.
Yep, you're catching that last chain back if you're lucky. What's up, Monique? She says the hearing has been pushed to 10:30. That's what we're hearing. That's what we're hearing, and that's where they pushed it to. But that doesn't mean that's when it happens. Just like the last court date, it was scheduled for 8-9, I think it was, and it didn't happen till 11:30. Um, they try to give you an approximate time, but it never works out that way.
No, well, there's
Courts
probably
move
a
slow.
hundred. There's probably 100 people that are having court today that are
Yeah.
in custody and out of custody, and they call the cases as they pop up.
Yeah. Once this case becomes where it goes to trial and things like that, then you'll have like approximate times. That's when it will start. When it still usually it doesn't start within the hour.
Oh
That's
no,
when it's
once you go to trial, you
yeah,
start at a set time every
set
day.
times. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Once it's separated from just what this court date is, which is basically an arraignment, a pre-trial hearing.
This is a nothing burger. Like I said in my video,
Yeah,
I did a
try
video
hard.
earlier today. This is absolute nothing. This is just for them to say this is what you've been charged with. How do you plead? They're gonna say not guilty, and they're gonna
Mhm.
say, okay, we're gonna continue this matter to this date, and then the next date they're gonna do absolutely nothing.
Yeah, but this is a first step in justice, right? So it is the first step. It's a court proceeding that you have to go through, that everyone goes through. I've went through it myself, not for these particular charges, but I've went through it. Dubs has been through courts. It's for everybody. It's they have to do it right, because if anything that they do wrong, then you have action at an appeal, or a mistrial, if convicted and things like that. So they have to just cross their I's and dot their T's. This is just part of the game right here. Like Dub says, it's a nothing burger. It's a dry run.
Can we take that back? Rewind. You just said cross your I's and dot your T's, big dog.
Yeah, that's what I always say. I say it backwards.
Oh, okay, my
I
bad.
say cross your I's and dot your T's. That's just one of my sayings, Dubs.
Well, I said in my video today, for those of you guys that didn't see it, which is most of you, um, this hearing basically in the next few years, probably worth of hearings, all they're gonna be for is for us to see their stupid faces, get some
Exactly.
more stupid pictures of these assholes. I'm sorry for saying it that way, but that's what they deserve. They deserve zero respect.
Zero. And today it's been put out there that there was a lawyer that was given to Jake. Um, and this attorney uh
The
has
Turpin case,
defended previous clients of heinous crimes.
the
Like,
Turpin case,
yeah, the
where
Turpin case.
the defendant was accused of, and I think I don't know, I have to look it up, of abusing 13 kids.
Mm,
So Jake has an attorney with a sterling record when it comes to weirdo cases, right?
yeah. Now it's also being mentioned that Rebecca had a hearing yesterday, a secret hearing,
Mhm.
right? It's no secret now. Um, and no one has been able to zero in on what it was all about. I
Or if
think it
it
was
even
a
happened,
separation.
or even if it
Or
happened.
yeah, if it even happened. I believe if it did happen, it was probably a separation of counsel. Me and Dubs discussed it. He agrees to a separation of counsel. It's a conflict of interest. I'll let Dubs explain to you how it's a conflict of interest.
So you can't have, everybody is, according to our Constitution, if you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed to you, right? And you can't have the public defender can't represent the husband and wife. There's a conflict of interest. So what happens is one of them usually gets stuck with a public defender, and the other one will get appointed private counsel, an attorney that practices in private counsel, which is usually a way better, more experienced attorney. You know, the public defenders, not that they're bad attorneys, they're overwhelmed, they're overworked, and they're usually with them, what they're trying to do is cut a deal. They don't want to have as many cases that get piled on them. They're not trying to go to trial on all of them, you know. So Jake, Gunnar was saying, he got appointed an attorney. I can't remember. I meant to write her name down, but she represented somebody who abused 13 kids.
Yeah. So they went ahead and found the one lawyer on earth that is well versed in these types of cases and helping weirdos try to get out. It's crazy the way the world works nowadays.
I wouldn't even say the one lawyer on earth, because there's a lot.
I'm just saying one of the worst. She defended one of the worst human beings
in the area. How come?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm sure there's worse, but she's the Lincoln lawyer. She's gonna defend this guy. You know what type of person? I understand it's their job, but like you've said in the past, Dubs, a lot of these lawyers, they don't like to lose. They got egos, and it's their job. No one likes to lose. Man, it's crazy being appointed a case like this. And she's appointed. She didn't choose to take this case. Again, she was appointed this case, I'm sure.
And she may have been appointed in the last case. I don't know. I'd have to look it up. And I plan on it just to get some more background on this attorney. But I said in my video today, you know, these attorneys are going to get a lot of hate, and neither one of them signed up for these clients. They were appointed these clients, and they have to represent them. That has to be a horrible thing, right? To go to work every day and use your prowess in the courtroom to defend someone that you know damn well is guilty of killing their own child.
Yeah. So
right now it's innocent until proven guilty, but all the evidence, and we're going off of what the authorities are saying. We're going off of what happened to Jake's 10-week-old daughter, you know, now 7, and cannot communicate, can't feed herself, is completely dependent for the entirety of her life on other people because of Jake, who was convicted of doing that shit.
Yeah, we're also going off of Jake's own admittance in this case. You know, he admitted, allegedly. Again, that story's all over the place, whether he did or did not. But from what we're hearing, he did. He said he rolled over on the baby and it was accidental and all that.
It was so accidental that he didn't wake up and call 911. He said he just threw the baby's body in the trash.
Yeah, that's how accidental.
He felt so bad for doing such a horrible accident that he just picked up the baby and tossed him in the fucking trash.
Yeah,
I gotta stop cussing. My bad. I know I'm cussing a lot right now, but I just don't like these two people.
Monique says Rebecca's new attorney seems to have seeked her out. He is in a private practice. Maybe so. You know, stranger things have happened. Here's a theory that me and Dubs were talking about the other day. It's actually Dubs' theory, and it was I was like, man, he's keying in on something. When they took Jake Haro out there and everyone thought on the theater, everybody thought that they were looking for the baby. You had a theory on that, Dubs, what it could have been.
No, I actually read it somewhere. I don't know if it's true or not, but they're saying that they're trying to say that Jake wasn't cooperating with them, but that they brought him out on the search and had psychologists there to study his body language when they had him out there looking for his son.
Okay. Which that's a very expensive procedure right there. Something to do. It doesn't happen. I mean, very expensive. Everything the law does in cases like this is top dollar. It's like very expensive for the taxpayers, you know?
Yeah.
That's why these courts are so, man, that's a heavy burden on the taxpayers to have to sit here and go through a trial to defend two people that we know are guilty. They got their day in court though. They gotta have it. It's the law. Yeah. It's their constitutional right, unfortunately. Where was baby Emmanuel's rights? Well, we depended on two monsters to take care of them, and obviously they didn't. So,
and they're saying that the judge that gave Jake the probation and work furlough, whatever it is, or work release, I don't know what the hell, that judge has resigned. And I'm glad, because like I said, Derek Lally says the name is Judge Dwight W. Moore.
he was the judge in the previous Haro
and I'm
case.
glad he resigned. And the reason why is because I said in my video today that because I didn't know if he had resigned or not. I said, but that's the kind of judge when you do something like that, you know what winds up happening? Somebody comes in with something very petty, and his conscience is eating at him so bad that he throws a book at him, and he throws a book at everybody over what he let Jake do.
Yeah, his conscience is eating him up.
I just don't understand. Like, I don't understand how you have the evidence in front of you. You have the district attorney arguing for the harshest punishment, right? You have all the evidence. You have the medical reports and everything. And you see this innocent child in the state that she's in. And then you decide, you know what? This guy deserves a second chance. Why? The daughter doesn't get a second chance.
Yeah.
The baby did not get a second chance. The baby didn't get a first chance, actually.
Never had a chance, period. And neither did Emmanuel. These babies never had a chance. They were born to a monster. My thing is this, and this is the one thing that's got me, Dubs. Exactly what you said. How could a man in good conscience do that? Any man, seeing the condition that the baby's in, right? And this dude smiling in front of him. But also, how can this man, how can the state, knowing that this man is going to be around other children, like let him go into a home with children? You would think that the judge, even if he's going to give him a chance for whatever reason, will say, okay, but one of the fucking stipulations is you can't be around children anymore, right?
And they can't control that. When
I know they can't ultimately, but
even in custody, they can't control what somebody does, let alone out of custody. And then going back to Jake's, I swear I want to cuss every time I say either on one of their names. I want to start cussing.
I'll do it for you. Fuck him. Go.
No, but the audacity of this piece of shit when he did that interview to say he's gathering his bail money so he can get back out and get back to his kids. Why? You're not done? You want to finish off the last one? How many are left? Because they won't be left for long if they let this fucking guy out again.
Well, there was also that interview that was conducted by that older gentleman with Rebecca and Jake. And Jake said, do you want say anything to baby Emmanuel that's, allegedly missing out there? I miss you, little buddy.
That's what this was said? That's
what he said. I miss you, little buddy. You fucking weirdo. Which is crazy because I have a brother-in-law that always calls his son, what's up, buddy? I might flash on him. You know what I mean? The thing is, and he's not a bad person, but I'm just saying that he's tainted that now for me. I miss you, little buddy. You miss him. You threw him in the trash, according to your own words.
Yeah. At what point did you miss him? When they put the handcuffs on you, or when they started questioning you? Like around that time, you missed him. You wish? Did you wish you didn't do what you did, or did you still feel like fuck it, I'm gonna beat it?
And it's not just pointing to Jake, because Rebecca. Let's not forget about Rebecca. Let's not forget about her big ass. She's sitting there too behind bars. Let's not forget about her. She also said to this older gentleman, I just want to go out there and look for my child. You didn't do that when you were out there. You weren't looking. She wasn't looking. She was in her house Netflixing and chilling with Jake. Grieving. How do you grieve for a child? You don't grieve for a child that's missing. You look for a child who's missing. You grieve after the fact. They were grieving because they already knew their child was dead. It's coming out from that.
I don't think they ever grieved. I think whatever happened, and they thought they were going to get away with it. And when the authorities started coming around, that's when they were like, "Oh, damn!"
Yeah, they were throwing away the clothes, the pictures.
I guarantee you, when the authorities started sniffing around, they never said they shouldn't have done it. Their whole thing was, I hope we get away with it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They tried.
I don't believe they've ever had a loving thought towards any of the children that they have.
Never. They were meth heads. You could tell. And like I said, man, there's been people that have put that background out. I'll say this though, Dubs, they figured in their diabolical minds that this was going to be another one of those cases we never hear about. Several things are happening right now that we'll never, ever hear about. They don't make the front page of news. They thought this was just going to be a local thing, swept under the rug, whatever. Our kid's missing. A paisa took them because they try to blame the Saint Ola that was throwing shade at the raza, right? And he's in Mexico and he's gone, and that's it. And then move on with life. Thank you, Patricia. We appreciate that so much. But
Thank
what
you,
happened
Patricia.
in the meantime, in between time, was people like Andatira, ourselves, other content creators, social media got very involved in this case. And that's where it started to take a turn for the worse for them, because it gained more attention, more than they thought it would. And even the police department, they fumbled right from the gate by shutting down the search 2 days after, this interview. I never understood that, Dubs. Why would they shut down the search? Even if they pinpointed these people did it, why shut down the search? We're still a body.
So there's two things. One thing is, when they shut down the search, there was Amber Alerts and stuff being put out. I think that immediately was shut down because they knew, like, no, wait a minute, this isn't a kidnapping whatsoever. This is internal. This is a family matter, right?
Domestic, yeah.
Now, we all know when babies are that young, they still have their bones they're still soft.
They're not fully developed. Yeah.
And I'm and it's so messed up that we have to have this type of conversation. We're talking about a baby, right?
A baby.
But we have to have, unfortunately, because of these two assholes right here, we have to have these conversations, right? With bones that soft, I don't think we're gonna, if the baby was left anywhere where there's wild animals, those bones would be devoured. I think every organ and the bones, I think it would be so hard for anything to be left. Especially, they think that baby Emmanuel may have died as far back as August 5th.
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
That's almost 30 days ago. So that the remains have been there for at least, maybe, possibly 30 days now, 29 days.
There's a picture that's circulating around social media, and I want to correct one of the videos I did where they said the last time baby Emmanuel was seen was on the 10th. I want to correct in saying you never see the baby in that picture or that video of them at Costco. It appears there's a baby in that cart. You see the 2-year-old girl that they had, the little girl that thank God was taken from them immediately, right? Mm-hmm. But you don't see the baby. There could be a watermelon in there for all we know, apples and oranges. You don't really see that there's a baby, but people, jumped on it and put it out there that the baby was last seen on the 10th. But I believe what you're saying, anywhere from the 5th, and I don't know where they get that date, maybe from Jake, but from the 5th to now, he could be anywhere. And
like
you said, if he's deteriorated,
they're not going to let out everything that they know. So they know something to put those dates together between the 5th and I think it's the 15th or 14th. And someone in the chat asked a good question. Why did they report baby Emmanuel missing in the first place? Something had to have happened. Something must have spooked them to where they were like, hey, we have to at least file a report.
Yeah. I believe it was people asking questions. I mean, just like at the funeral, the video of the funeral where the family members like, where's the baby? And that's just a normal question to ask. Hey, where's the baby at? And she ignored it at first. And then when asked again, maybe the family was pressing, friends, people that just know that they have a baby were pressing, and eventually we got to say something.
That's where we get the conflicting stories, because I could have swore I heard that family members had said they had never even met the baby.
There are some that have said that. But obviously, whoever that person was that was asking that question in that funeral tape had seen the baby, because she directly asked Rebecca, where's the baby at? And she didn't ask it like a setup, like it sounded normal, like, hey, where's the baby?
But here's the thing. Look, in all my life, I've known, I mean, when somebody has a baby, everybody in the family wants to come and see the baby, and the parents want, hey, look at the baby. They're proud of their baby.
Yeah.
So how is it that family members that live nearby have never interacted with the baby? That's just, it's weird to me. It's almost as if like the baby was despised before he was even born or something. It just doesn't in my brain, I can't compute how parents, and then not only that, raising a child is very expensive. So a lot of times, a lot of families, the parents want to have that baby shower to get that help, to get the formula and the bottles, the clothing, whatever they can get, to help out. And it's just weird. I don't get it.
my thing is what little this baby had for them to be just easily be able to throw it away and get rid of the pictures. They didn't seem to have a lot. I know when.
Oh,
Okay.
so Monique says the hearing for Jake was coming up for his probation violation, and they probably had to come up with the kidnapping story since the baby would have been checked up on if probation had to do a home visit.
Yeah, but and that's a good theory, great theory, Monique. But in some cases, the probation are there for one thing, to search the premises. They search the common rooms, just to make sure you don't have something you're not going to have. They don't really even focus on the children. I've had when I was on parole probation, they'd come in, they didn't care.
Yeah, but gun. When probation came for us, we didn't have a fucking charge for beating the fuck out of our kids.
You're right. You're right.
They're gonna look at that kid. They're gonna look at every kid in that house.
You're right. I didn't even think about that.
And then somebody keeps asking. I'm sorry, I didn't see the name. Okay, here it is, right here. I think Jexlin. I wonder if it was the lady who was. Oh no, not that one. Damn, I can't find. So somebody keeps asking, would wild animals? Here it is. Case Sloan. Would the wild animals eat him with the lie on him? That's the thing is, I don't know. Has it been fully confirmed that lie was purchased?
No.
So then we're gonna go. We're gonna go off the fact that we don't know if lie was purchased, and if it was, then that's even.
That means
bad these fucking people were to say.
Yeah. Basically, when lie is put on anybody or a baby, it deteriorates their body off the bones. It decomposes and festers. It strips them of their bones. It's called a water bath.
So me says, why is it that they hurt the baby? Which two babies? Why is it that they hurt the baby and not the 2-year-old daughter? We don't know what the 2-year-old daughter has suffered.
Who says they haven't?
We know that the 2-year-old has survived, right? We know that. But it's a good question. Why?
Look at, this is just my theory. Okay. In some cases, man, why ask why? You could have one kid in the home that's loved, and that's the favorite. I've been in situations like that where a mother and their family just loved this kid, and then she had another son and they paid no attention to him and didn't really care. And I used to trip on it, right? Like I would see the difference on how this one got all the presents, this one got all the good stuff, and this one didn't. And with the family, it was because they didn't like the father of that child. So they took out because they didn't like the father. Were not happy that she had a child with this man. They treated the baby bad. It's crazy, but that's just the way it was. They weren't beating him or anything, but they just didn't have no love for him or show no love. And I always tripped out on that. So it could be a case where they really love this little girl, and she was the one that they chose to just give her all the love. And the little boy, maybe they felt was a burden to them. There's never no excuse, but I'm just saying some people are crazy like that. I've seen it. I've seen one kid get treated better than the other child. They don't think like normal people do. All children are the same. They're children, period. They don't know no better. It's up for us to protect them. I've seen people literally treat one better than the other. And I was just like, wow. And me noticing that, then I did.
And now we can say that we know cases of a family deciding to kill one and not the other. Isn't that a fucked statement? Isn't that
worse and worse?
Isn't that a fucked up thing to have to say?
Yeah. We're talking, and that's what gets me with like everything that's going on and people pointing fingers and misdirection and everything. We're losing our focus. Our focus needs to be on justice for baby Emmanuel, bringing him back, whether if he never does or doesn't. And I did a video on it yesterday. I agree with Dubs and everyone else. I think it's too late. I think too much time has passed. It's just too late. Right. But you never know. But now our focus should be on these people paying exactly for what they've done. And it's going to take a lot of strange twists. Today, it's not going to take a twist. Today's going to be 10:30. They're going to go in there. They're going to plead not guilty, given their lawyers, go back to your cell. See you later. Here's a fucking sandwich. Sorry, we have to give it to you.
I hope both of them. Good morning, JTB. I hope both of them have diarrhea right now and have to sit in that courtroom and just squeeze their cheeks all fucking day. I hope they're miserable every day.
So here's another story that was put out yesterday that I kind of touched on in my video. Make sure you guys tap in, man, on this channel, Dub's channel. He actually did a court video breaking down everything that we're kind of breaking down right now, but going more into detail. So make sure you guys watch that video, hype it, like, subscribe, all that. If you're new to the channels, something else I touched on in my video today, Dubs, was there was an alleged assault, again, social media, people just say wild shit sometimes. An alleged assault on Rebecca Haro yesterday, saying that someone ran into her. She was assaulted. It's crazy. She was assaulted and then had court all at the same time. I don't know what happened first, right? Maybe she was assaulted on the way to court, or
I don't know if they said it happened. I don't know if they said that we saw the thing.
Yeah,
we saw it yesterday. Doesn't mean it happened yesterday. Could have been the day before.
could
have never happened. You know,
could have never happened.
With a tuna can, no, that was the other chick.
That was Pearl.
Yeah,
Pearl got assaulted with a tuna can and hot water thrown in her face. That's confirmed. That's a fact. That happened. They actually interviewed one of the women that were there, that was involved in that. And ever since that happened, and I talked about that in a video days ago. Ever since that happened, she's been segregated. Funky Monkey, I appreciate you. Thank you so much, man. I get so sad when I call my 4-year-old son and just wonder what Emmanuel endured. Whenever they couldn't figure out why he's crying or if he smiled at all, you know, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate to think what that baby went through. My only hope is that baby, you know, we don't know what babies feel. We don't know what babies know or how they feel. It's crazy, man. Nobody in the family, and I'll be doing a video maybe later on today or tomorrow. I got a real good one today for you guys, but I'll be doing one maybe on this channel. I'll give you a super, and then one. It's time that we get into one of Jake's family members and break it all the way down, because I've seen some things after rewatching the video that I just don't like. So we'll do that later on.
Nina, I'll see what I can find on it.
You know, there's so many cases going on, Dubs. Well, I did a video the other day, and I know we're trying to bring justice for these children, and that's what we're focused on right now. We're not focused on the prison stuff, and we're not focused on any of that. We're trying to do something different here. But that case in Bakersfield with Genesis, I don't know if you know too much of the details on it. I did the video on it. Well, I'm wondering why that's one of the ones that's swept under the rug. Not a lot of people know about it. You know, and that's a very heinous case, man. It's just about as bad as this one, if not even worse, right? Anytime something happens to a child, it's bad. But this is what I believe that Jake and Rebecca expected. Something like this, for it to not go national. Thank God for people like on the theater and people that pressed on the pressure, you know, because if not, I don't believe this ever would have been a big deal. It's a big deal, but you know what I'm saying? I don't believe so. You know, I mean, none of us heard about the first case.
No. And had we heard about what he did to his daughter, maybe, who knows, but maybe something could have happened. We don't know though.
Yeah.
You know, had we heard about it before the judge did what he did, maybe the judge wouldn't have. But I saw in the comments somebody was saying that judge maybe that judge was filling in for another judge that day. That wasn't even, it doesn't matter who you're filling in for as a human being, let alone a jurist, a lawyer, attorney, whatever. As a damn man, as a human being, you see that medical report and you see what that little girl is going to have to endure for the rest of her life. How do you say, you know what, this dude deserves a chance? I don't see it.
You see the pictures. Like Dub says, his daughter never had a chance. Baby Manuel never had a chance. Why? What has he done in his life to warrant that chance? Okay, I believe in people getting second chances and all that in life if you make mistakes. When you beat a child, that is not a fucking mistake. Period. There's nothing to do.
And I want to bring up, you know, I'm a former lifer. You know, I did over 24 years the last time. And one thing you learn in self-help and when you're developing that personal insight, something that's very important, and it goes to when you go to board and the board questions you about your decision making, right? A mistake is when you do something when you don't know what the outcome can be. If you make a decision knowing what the outcome could be, that's not a fucking mistake. That's a horrible decision. That's a decision that you make and you have to stand by that. You know, so I'll give you an example, like in prison, when you go to board, if you carried a gun and they ask you, hey, why were you carrying a gun that day? And you say to defend yourself, you're a liar. You carried that gun to kill somebody. right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
these people did not make any mistakes in what they did. They made conscious decisions to do what they did to baby Emmanuel. And hey, you were man and woman enough to make those mistakes. Now take the medicine that comes with that.
Yes, and I truly hope that both these fucking monsters don't get no love or no good deals or anything like that. And I'm explaining to you why. Because we are going on a month now since baby Manuel's been missing or deceased, and these parents still have not told the truth. They are still sticking by this bullshit story. You know, again, we don't know if Jake told that story or not, if someone just put it out there in the wind and whatever, right? Because it's I've heard conflicting stories. Rebecca has not said anything other than standing by her story, right?
Stupid.
So to say that they love their child or they like, just tell us the truth already. Just fucking, you're gonna do time no matter what. Do you have a shred of love for a child, man, that you could say, okay, this is what happened? Fuck it, right? I understand now they're in a situation where they're fighting for their lives. Good. I hope their life is behind those bars forever. These are people I don't want to see on the streets forever at all. Never around children, especially Jake.
And Harley says, can you guys imagine being the cop assigned to the Perkins operation? It wasn't a cop. They have confidential informants all over the place. It was an inmate. It was an inmate, somebody who's actually in the streets, committing crimes and doing drugs. And unfortunately, it's part of the program where they let certain people do certain things in order to gather information. And so they utilized one of their informants, placed him next to Jake. And I did a video on that. When the reporter, I can't remember his name, I have it written down somewhere in my notes. He reported that he was told about the Perkins operation. Now the DA and everybody else is saying it never happened. Well, of course they're going to say that because they wanted to keep using that. And so when it was reported, it killed it. So I understand the frustration. But when people came out and they were like, oh, he's in isolation, that doesn't mean there's nobody else on the tier. You just don't come out on the tier with other people. You don't go to a chow hall. It's you. And if you have a cellie, it's you and your cellie. When you go to yard, it's you and your cellie. So isolation doesn't mean that you can't talk to somebody. And they definitely would have. Look, in my case, in every case, when there's a death, the DA is going to try a Perkins operation. They're going to try to put someone near you to befriend you, to engage you in conversation and hope that you slip up. It's used all the time.
Their case.
It's used all the time.
Yeah. Sue Jones, correct me if I'm wrong, but what happened to Pearl's old man? I haven't heard anything. Well, he's right now in Corcoran prison on an SNY yard. The last video I put out, which was about 8 or 9 months ago on him, he was attacked on the tier. He was a porter at the time. This is a very big man. Okay. And it boggles my mind that no one has attacked him to the point of using metal yet. And I don't know if they have or haven't. And he just was able to live through it. But he was attacked on the tier, and it was nothing real major. So things like this are going to happen from time to time. But that's where he's at as of now, unless he's been moved. I haven't even looked up that case to see if he's moved yet or not. I'd be trying to keep up with that to keep Gabriel Fernandez's name alive. I try to do at least one video a year. Because we can't forget Gabriel at all. These kids, man, ever since I've been doing this YouTube stuff, baby Brianna, Gabriel, there's so many others. If I miss them now, Genesis, Emmanuel, I like to do videos from time to time because people seem to just forget about them. I don't.
And from what I heard, I think he was attacked on more than one occasion. I can remember there being at least 2 times that dude was attacked. And thank you, Vigilante. Brian Enton was the reporter that he's the one that said that he was informed about the Perkins operation, and he's never changed his story. So it's funny how the DA and the sheriff want to talk about those of us on social media that talked about how supposedly the Perkins operation was put into play, but they say nothing about the guy who went to school to become a journalist. That guy's okay because he went to school. Hey man, the Constitution gives all of us the right, the freedom to press, the freedom of press, excuse me.
Freedom of speech.
And like what Anatira was doing, going on scene and doing what he's doing. Hey, that's constitutionally protected. He had every right to do that. Are we all going to get everything right every time? No.
Human beings.
mainstream media has to retract stories all the time, you know, but Brian Enton's sticking by it, and I believe it. I used to be a criminal for a long time. I remember being in the county jail and multiple cases where the DA did a Perkins operation while I was in the county. This is for anyone to think that wasn't employed with this guy. And it's probably, and another reason why they're probably pissed off that it was said is because they're probably doing it to Rebecca right now.
Yeah, I'm sure.
They have
I'm sure they
somebody
will.
near her, and they're like, "Shut the fuck up! You guys are ruining the investigation." And I agree.
But again, that came from inside their office for the information like that to come out, Dubs.
It did, but I think it shouldn't have been reported. There's certain things that shouldn't be reported because this dude would have probably copped to everything, exposed everything. She may have at some point exposed everything as well. But once it's reported, they can no longer employ it.
Yes. Is that right, Nina Marie? Genesis mom got beat up in jail. I'm not surprised. You know, these type of people get touched eventually. You know, it's only a matter of time. There's mothers, there's fathers, there's people that are away from their children that are frustrated because of it while incarcerated. And when they see these people walking around with a smile on their face, that's the last straw. And, you know, I mean, it could have happened to Rebecca allegedly yesterday or the day before. We don't know. At the end of the day, man, this is the life that these people, the bed that they've made, and they have to lay in it. And they have to suffer through these situations because obviously they don't care about children. So now it's their turn. It's their turn.
And Dead Mike is asking what a Perkins operation is. It's basically when the DA and the investigating authorities, but it's the DA, they place, like if you're in custody, right? They will put a confidential informant, confidential source. They will put him, if not in the cell with you, near you, that's going to be able to try to elicit a confession out of you. Most of the time, those informants are wearing a wire, and that stuff can be used against you in court.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to express this when Dub said I kind of lost my train of thought, but like we were saying, anytime you hurt a child, a baby, do anything like this, that is not a mistake. Don't use the word mistake for that, right? But when Dubs was saying that people like on the theater, myself or anyone, like when information is put out there and we might misconstrue it or get it wrong, human error, we make mistakes. There's a difference between a tedious mistake like that and a mistake that fucking judge made by letting this monster Jake Haro out. That is, again, when a child is involved, that is not a mistake.
Yeah, I don't think the judge made a mistake. The judge had everything in front of him and made a fucked up decision.
He made an error in judgment, a very bad error in judgment he's going to have to live with. And I'm sure it'll haunt him because now not only does he have promises blood on his hands, right? Now Emmanuel's, he could have prevented that. And who says that he would have prevented it? But I mean, Jake would have been incarcerated.
Dead Mike, how does that sound like entrapment? That is not entrapment. Entrapment is putting merchandise somewhere for somebody to think that, hey, somebody left it. Hey, let me just grab that and take it. You're still making a decision to do something, but this is not entrapment, Holmes. Somebody that's in jail that's bragging about their case, that happens all the time, Holmes. Putting a confidential informant around somebody with a high profile case that decides that they want to talk about the shit they did, how's that entrapment? It's actually, legal? So I'm going to pull it up for you. It's actually a case. The person's last name is Perkins. That's why they call it a Perkins operation.
And that's what usually happens. One of the bigger cases, they'll name it after that case because they got a big conviction or
well, no, it's always named after the case law.
Yeah, the case law. You know, that's kind of like with what's that one? The one case I'm thinking of with Polyclass, they have Megan's Law. Because of Megan, and then they have these certain things. They utilize the names. Illinois versus Perkins, says the tortoise.
Okay.
Good morning to everyone that's in here again, man. Make sure you guys tap in with Dub's channel, the Dub S channel as well. He's doing consistent content, great content, man, on this issue and several others. So make sure that you guys tap in. Myself, you guys already know what I do. Gunners Collective Clips. If you're into the comedy, you're right here on the right channel. But we can get real too, and we're gonna get real right here. Today's court. 10:30. It's a quick turnaround. It's what's called as a fucking a dry run, and they're going to go in there. They're going to plead not guilty. They're going to be given their counsel. A separation of counsel, I believe, has already been ordered, where because of the conflict of interest. You can't have the same lawyer, because what if one of them decides to start telling on the other? You can't defend one and the other at the same time. And like Dubs says, in this case, having him gone through a murder trial, he understands that they will give one a public defender and the other one a private attorney. So that's the way it works. So, and in this case, it looks kind of like Jake got the private attorney.
So the definition, according to ChatGPT, is a Perkins operation is when police place an undercover officer or sometimes an informant into a jail cell or other confined setting with a suspect to engage them in conversation and try to elicit incriminating statements without giving Miranda warnings, the right to remain silent, and the right to an attorney. It's based off of the case, like he said already, Illinois versus Perkins. The Supreme Court ruled that Miranda rights are only required when a suspect is subjected to interrogation by someone they know is law enforcement. So it's legal. Supreme Court has made the
ruling. If it wasn't, they wouldn't have been using it. They had one.
No, I'm answering the question before he asked. No, before he says, is that legal? I'm saying it's legal because the Supreme Court has already ruled on it.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. If it was illegal, they wouldn't be utilizing it, is what I'm saying. I'm saying there was one situation in Orange County where they used it and they didn't use it the right way. I guess the man became aware that he was talking to an undercover police officer, and his lawyer was able to get around that. But in most of these situations, it's just kind of putting the icing on the top. They already know what's going on. They just need this person to admit it. Is it admissible in court, Dubs, these statements that they make if they're recorded without their knowledge? Or do they?
Perkins. It's under Perkins. It's legal.
So it's law. Yeah,
yes,
they can do it. Absolutely. Between you and I, we appreciate you. We appreciate all the new people that are coming in and liking and subscribing. Thank you so much. Thank you. So for Miss Manda that came in, said she thought it was 8:30. It was scheduled for 8:30 in the morning. They moved it to 10:30. And this is what happens in court. This is normal. This is not something special because of this case. They could move it again if they choose to, depending upon the availability of the judge. And we got a lot of people going to court today.
Yeah, there's probably 100 people on the docket today, in custody and out in the free world. They don't know when you're going to actually be seen. So everybody is scheduled for court at 8:30 or 8, whatever it is. But that doesn't mean you go before a judge at that time. Your case pops up when it pops up. Also, there's some attorney. Your attorney may be in trial that day. And so they have to find another attorney to step in and represent you just for that day. So there's a lot of things that go on like that.
Joshua Lay, exactly. If the guy asked if he was a cop and the guy said no, but was a cop, then yes, it would be against the law. Yes, that is why, like in, I don't really want to speak on it, but like prostitutes and people like that are out there, if they identify the person as a cop, they ask them, and if they don't admit it, then they can't get them on a setup. That's entrapment at that point because they asked them already. They have to identify themselves. But you got to understand, in the county jail, people aren't doing that. This is not the movies. This is not 60 Days In. People are not even thinking that cops are sitting. They get these guys that are actually convicts, people that are actually done time. They're tatted down. They're looking just like you, if not worse. And they befriend you for a couple of days, and you get a little loose, and they got you. Mm-hmm. This is not something where they send a white collar criminal or someone that looks like he should be fucking making a Burger King commercial in there, right? And no, it's someone that actually looks the part. He is the part. He's just willing to run you over for his own benefit.
I personally, like when I was in the county, the times that I saw that they did that, not one of them was a cop. What cop is gonna be incarcerated away from their family, placed in harm's way? I don't believe a county would even put a cop in that type of predicament where they have to be in there. It might take 2 months to get the guy to finally talk about the case. What cop is going to be incarcerated for 2 months?
Yeah,
and I've only seen it's a criminal, it's a crook.
Yeah, it's someone that is willing to do what or say or do whatever he has to do to minimize his time or to assist for whatever reasons, whatever perks and favors he gets. A lot of them get, hey, you could do this and we'll let you out, or we'll cut your time, or they cut him a deal. So these dudes are scammers.
But there's times when the guy didn't break the law, but he's on probation, and they tell him, hey, we're going to take you to the county. You need to do this. And that dude's going to go and do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's some shit that them dudes, they sign up for on the streets in order to keep using drugs or doing whatever how they're doing.
To stay out there, to stay high. The thing is with Jake and Rebecca, did this situation ever happen? Jake is denying it. Jake is saying that he was never around. In that interview, he said he was never around anyone. He's been isolated the whole time. Again, he's a known liar, so you can't believe anything this man says. Then on the other hand,
I said in my video when he said that there isn't a fucking jail in America that has a secret squirrel cubbyhole for a weirdo.
Exactly.
They're not gonna say, let's build a whole section of the jail to only house one guy.
Exactly. You're gonna be around people. Usually what they do, and this is just the truth, with weirdos like this, they're gonna put them around people with other weird cases. Okay. They're gonna isolate them there with other people that are isolated or in protective custody. He's gonna be right there with them. It's just the way they do it, man. It's kind of like with other individuals that have been locked up. They're not going to just put him. Nipsey Hussle's murderer, right? Convicted murderer, Shitty Pants or whatever they call him, right? Shitty Draws or whatever. Is that his name? That dude was on high power. He was in the high power section in LA County Jail. They had him around other people that were on high power. And knowing that he was in danger, there was a lot of people making threats against his life. They still didn't put him by himself. Now, I understand this is a case involving a child. Yeah, and they don't.
And he got moved on in the court tank.
Yeah,
remember they hit him with a razor. They beat his ass and hit him with a razor in the court tank.
Yes, they did. So there is action at Jake and Rebecca. I don't believe anything that comes out of Jake's mouth. Period. Anything that comes out of Rebecca's mouth either. But again, today, for those that are sitting on their hands and waiting to see what happens in court, we've pretty much explained it. Make sure you guys go tap in with Dub's video. He explains it very well. And nothing's going to happen today. It's going to be a super duper dry run.
Nothing's going to happen for a while. They're going to be dry runs for a while. And as long as Rebecca's dumbass doesn't realize she needs to say what really happened in the house, she's going to wind up doing a whole lot more time than she would have.
Yeah.
I just don't see. I see a life sentence for both of them, though. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah. At this point, I think they're going to lay the demo down. Like I was saying, this judge right here that is going to try this case. And again, this judge that's on this case right now, that's not going to be the judge. I don't believe, Dubs, or is it? Because they're going to move this court to now it's going to go from right now to what is it, a municipal court?
I don't know what they in their county what they call it, but like for my county for Santa Barbara, when your initial when you have your initial hearing, you're in municipal court. Once they charge you and like for a capital crimes, a murder case, they bound you over to Superior Court. That's a felony court. And so today, more than likely, I wouldn't be surprised. This normally in these type of hearings at this phase, that's when you see guys that are behind the glass and they're standing up and they're talking through glass. And then once they get bound over with their formal charges, they get bound over. Then that's when you see them in the courtroom by their attorney at their hearings and shit.
Exactly. Anyways, with that being said, we're going to get up out of here, man. We just wanted to bring you guys some news. Let you guys know, Jake and Rebecca Haro, and I'm sure most of you know, they moved their court to 10:30. They're going to go in there. We're going to see what happens. We can only tell you what we tell you. Justice for baby Emmanuel. This is just one of the first pieces of the puzzle to that. And that's where we're trying to get. And that's where we stand right now, man. We appreciate you guys. Go tap in with Dubs' video right now. He dropped a good video. If you're into getting more details and a much more elaborated on layout of exactly what's going to happen in court today.
Make sure you subscribe to all of our channels to get more updates as they come.
Thank you, man. We appreciate you guys. You guys have a good day and be on the lookout for more content as we'll be dropping more than likely hourly. Thank you.
And this live will stay up. So for whoever missed it, don't worry. You can rewatch it. Just rewind it and it'll still be up.
Thank you, guys.
Right, you guys.